Grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and the repentant alike. I'm Chief Sophia of the Americana Band of Indians, and this is our Don't Miss It headline news, where we go through the news for the week of Monday, March the 17th, 2025 through Sunday, March the 23rd, 2025. These are just headlines. We have a longer form podcast, which you can find at our YouTube channel, Americana News Network. And that's where I go into detail about some of the headlines. And also we will discuss various executive orders and other legal documents. So let's get started. We're just going to rapid fire through the headlines, and hopefully I will not give too much commentary. All right, Monday, March 17th, 2025. This is St. Patrick's Day. Shout out to the brother St. Patrick, who is did a lot for us. All right, Trump voids Biden auto pen pardons. Boston is Atlanta for whites, so hopefully that will help some of us understand this whole Boston thing, because I don't get it. There's a clip going around of Mike Johnson questioning Biden's mental capacity, like asking him, like he was talking about, he had asked him about something and Biden had no idea what he was talking about. The auto pen is not allowed for pardons. It's not, you can't use an auto pen for pardons per the Constitution, okay? Huntsman on X gives a clarification of U.S. agriculture and how we went from a country that produced food for people to eat to a primarily corn producing country, okay? Evangelical Jesus doesn't consent. No consent with that guy. HUD and the Secretary of HUD and the Secretary of Interior are going to use federal lands to build more housing, which is great. Coltrane's circle music theory comes into the timeline. I say the slave ships are from Ireland, and Frederick Douglass has a huge role that he played in that, and that's going to be on my spiritual channel if you want to know. That video hasn't been made yet. UMG responds to Drake and calls him a Karen. Basically, Elon reveals 14 magic money computers. Anyway, moving on. Gwinnett, Georgia has a 16-year-old who has been missing for, I think, a year, that was found safe. And I just want to point this out because there's a lot of children who have gone missing that are now magically coming back. That's not a coincidence. Anyway, USAID funding is shut down. By the way, FBI is treating swattings as terrorism. They are. It's really bad. You don't want to, if you don't know what a swatting is, I think I mentioned it last week. It's where an individual calls for, basically, first thing they do is call and order a pizza to someone's house that the person didn't order, and then to make sure they have the proper address, and then later on they call the police to the person's house and say some horrible crime had been committed, and the police come with the SWAT team. That's why it's called SWAT team. Okay. Secretary Turner reveals that the HUD headquarters is in bad, terrible, unworkable conditions, to be honest. Pulte, who is with the Federal Housing Financing Association or something like that, says only 49 employees come into work at Fannie Mae. Scientists trapped in Antarctica goes crazy and asks for help. No one's coming to help them. Egg prices are down 50%. Trump goes to the Kennedy Center, comments on the empty rooms, which seem like they might have been used for trafficking, and calls to release the JFK files the next day. Hunter and Ashley Biden's Secret Service is canceled. Why they have Secret Service coverage, I don't know. The Houthis and Iran have their third day of bombings. They should really just give it up. Newsom asked for $2.8 billion for Medi-Cal, $2.8 billion more. They just asked for $3.4 billion to be financed. Now Newsom is asking for 2.8 billion. This is to cover illegals, okay? They have illegals on Medi-Cal and they're asking for money to cover the illegals. George Washington Carver was castrated by his white family, which is, he didn't want people to know he had been castrated. So he went along with the fact that they said he was gay. And if you don't think that sounds like Michael Jackson's story, you don't know Michael Jackson's story, because he was chemically castrated. But I don't think they chemically castrated George Washington Carver, which God bless him. I mean, the stuff our ancestors went through is ridiculous. And this is the day that we start watching for the new year. All right. So Tuesday, March the 18th, 2025. UBS troubles go mainstream. That's a bank. Jews resume bombing on their new year. SpaceX Dragon Crew 9 lands safely in Gulf of America and is greeted by dolphins. Doge marks 3.2 million. Oh, Doge marks 3.2 million, marks it back. And 3.2 million people over age 120 dead. Okay. In a social security system, there's millions of people who are over the age of 120. Doge goes in and says, you guys got to mark all these people over 120 as dead. Okay. That's what they, I couldn't read my notes. RFK Jr. meets with baby food manufacturing. And if you don't know about the scandal in baby food manufacturing, we're going to talk about that on the podcast. Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, releases a statement. Political. He has to be impeached, censured, removed from the bench. You're not allowed to do that as a Supreme Court who has a lifetime appointment. You're not allowed to be political. And he released a completely political statement trying to protect Boasberg of all the, anyway, condemning the removal of judges. All right. Trump and Putin have a over 2-hour call to normalize relations and end the Ukraine war. Harry Sisson is a narcissist creep. He's with the DNC. He was one of the DNC's major people. And as a matter of fact, he was not even a United States citizen. They can't prove that. So he said he voted. Where are his papers at? Like, what papers does he have to vote? All right. Trump removes DEI from the Foreign Service. If you don't know what the Foreign Service is, I talked a little bit about the Senior Executive Service, but the Foreign Service is similar, just with people overseas. So I'll go into detail on that in the podcast. Daily Wire implosion. The president. I don't like the Daily Wire. I don't like, what's that guy's name? Shapiro, Ben Shapiro. I don't like him. I think he's stupid. He is the one that brought us Candace Owens, who is also stupid, and Airhead, what's his face? Master Charlie Kirk. I don't like none of them, okay? I don't like none of them. So this implosion, so shortly after USAID funding has been removed, is also interesting. Kanye goes on another unhinged rant. Conservatives are still getting swatted. Tulsi releases the JFK files. A lot of them, like 80,000 documents, get released. Kendrick has a song. The last song in his album is called Gloria. No one knows why it's called Gloria, and I was unknown. But apparently, Gloria is the witness to Drake's crime, some crime, and that comes out on the internet. I have to go back and look into that. ICE arrests fake ICE agent in Utah. Secretary Pete, at Department of Defense slashes 60 million civilian jobs. Tom Cotton is against the judges, which is not good because he's a huge warmonger. The judges are trying to create constitutional crisis because Trump won't. That's the consensus. Schumer mocks greedy Americans on The View who want to keep their money instead of giving it to USAID. Drake wants to see all Kendrick's personal contracts. He is an ultra Karen. Like, you've never seen a Karen like this. Jess Hilarious is fired from the Breakfast Club, which I don't know. I don't know about her. I don't care. All right, March the 19th, 2025. This is Wednesday. Lipton Tea, Peach Tea does an early April Fool's, which is Trump has a call with Zelensky. It's not as long as the call with Putin. I look at the beluga whale from the bottom and it looks like a mermaid, which is really interesting. DJ Daniel attends the United States Secret Service graduation. Scott Bessent at the Treasury is they're appointing an affordability czar. Measles death was medical malpractice. So there was no measles death. It was really just medical malpractice. Big U, who is an LA Crip, gets arrested. I don't know what that means yet. India investigates Soros. Miami to rename streets after JT, Trina, Jackie O, and some others, which is really nice. 100 tornadoes hit between March 14th and 16th. Erykah Badu announced a new album produced entirely by The Alchemist, which is probably going to be really good. All 30 Playboy Cardi tracks are on the Hot 100. Anti-Trump FBI agent caught trying to leave the United States. That's a crazy story. SOS, Georgia Raffensperger loses election integrity case. Basically, they cheated in the 2020 elections. And Raffensperger, who's a Republican now, is one of the main people who caused that to happen. All right? In Georgia. Anyway, Google Gemini 2.0 can remove watermarks. Fed Mediation and Conciliation closed by Dodge. This organization was nothing but a slush fund to pay for people to have high-end stuff. It was not even a real job. Turkey headed toward Iranian-style overthrow, which is a little bit crazy. Indiana teacher grapes 3 boys and forces them to wear a scream mask while doing it. Look, weird people, okay? EU imports 1 billion in Russian LNG for the first time in years. The wildlife firefighters get a permanent pay increase, which is great. All right. Thursday, March the 20th, 2025, when conservatives boycotted Bud Light, they just didn't buy it. They didn't set it on fire. They're trying to say, oh, the boycotts that you see with these people that are lighting the Teslas on fire is the same as the conservatives. No, it's not. No, it's not, because when they boycotted Bud Light, they just didn't buy Bud Light. They didn't set it on fire. They didn't destroy it. They just didn't participate. And these people cannot seem to understand the difference. This is a huge story. 2-kilometer structures discovered underneath the pyramids in like the Giza pyramid or whatever. 2-kilometer structures. So underneath the sand, down 2 kilometers, which is a long distance, there are structures that deep. And the part that you see on the top is really the pointer, like the scepter, perhaps. All right. NVIDIA to spend a lot of money on chip making in America. NVIDIA doesn't have the money, so that'll be interesting to see. I call the last Sabbath of 2024. I did observe the sun change stations this day. USAID Global Engagement Center in the UK, was in collusion. They were in collusion to censor Americans, which I've known since 2016, but people are just finding this out. Edward Bennett Williams end of court expose, and that's going to be in the longer podcast. Okay. Kendrick Lamar will be featured at the Olympics. The Olympic Committee makes that announcement. The Delta crash that happened in Ontario was in part due to a failed landing gear. Okay. Arlington National Cemetery did not remove blacks. That was a huge fake story going around. Yella Beezy in Texas is arrested for murder. Apparently, he hired a transgender to kill another. I don't know. Look, I don't know. Boasberg is lying about the minute order, meaning this was a big thing they were arguing about. He was trying to find out if they violated the minute order, but he didn't even put in the minute order to turn the planes around. He only said it verbally, which means it doesn't matter what you did because you didn't actually order it. It's only what's written is what is ordered. Period. Point blank in the story. You have to see it in writing. You have to demand to see it in writing where you agreed to something. Okay? Always keep that in mind. The president of Congo asked Trump to negotiate peace in the region in exchange for mineral rights, which they have about $2 billion worth of minerals there. Ukraine rare earths deal is on the table. Paul Weiss law firm cuts a deal with Trump to have their security clearances reinstated. And they have to provide $40 billion, million dollars in free legal help to whoever Trump says. All right, an American held by the Taliban is freed. Trump has signs an executive order to shut down Department of Education. 1,000 FBI agents on Epstein files. DoorDash, Klarna payments for food delivery, which is horrible. Harriet Tubman died the year that Delta Sigma Theta was founded. We'll do something with that later. All right, so Friday, March 21st, 2025. This is the first day of spring. This is the first day of our solar year, okay? Jonathan Majors is on the Breakfast Club, and there's a lot more news today, meaning the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th. I have about half the news as the 21st. So that's how you know the energy had actually shifted. It's not just the news picked up. I mean, this is a literal, you can view it if people want confirmation of what I'm saying, okay? Jonathan Majors was on the Breakfast Club. Doge employee does an interview on Fox. UAE commits to 1.4 trillion investment in US. And you can't trust the UAE either, by the way. U.S. State Department closing Western Europe consulates. Tweet on Louisiana spy music beats goes viral. King Charles to offer U.S. membership in Commonwealth. So why would King Charles wait until the first day of our solar year to run this story? Like, y'all got to be paying attention. Like, these things actually do matter. They do this stuff on purpose, okay? And we're not going to accept it. He's nuts, okay? Unhinged woman goes crazy on this MAGA hat wearing man in New York City on the train, and it goes viral. There's a viral video, and she like falls in flat on her face, which is hilarious. UK weighs ending digital service tax because we have reciprocal tariffs that start on April the 2nd. That's going to be America's Independence Day. Alaska to increase oil production for the first time in 17 years. TDA is being rounded up and treated like terrorists, as they should. DHS, Civil Rights Branch is fired. So the DHS Civil Rights Branch actually were the lawyers for the terrorists and for the invaders. College students go to Western NC to help rebuild, which is great. SBA to handle student loans. HHS is going to handle special needs and nutrition now that Department of Ed is being pared back. ICE is targeting infrastructure work sites, which is good. DC ER visits are most stressful in the nation, which they are. Ye shows off swastika chain. Missing DC teen found dead is very, very sad. Also in DC, they have a 17-year-old who unalived a 15-year-old with a gun, and they're going to charge him, of course, as an adult. Scientific publication retractions are rising. Grassley asked Bondi and Cash to restore whistleblower security clearances. Massive plasma arc off the sun. Also another proof that this is the start of the year because this sun left off this plasma. Huge plasma. They've never seen anything like it. Harry Sisson is not a U.S. citizen, as I indicated yesterday. That comes out. Last Sabbath 2025 video is uploaded on YouTube, although I tried to upload it on Thursday and it took over 24 hours to upload, which is crazy. And that just is, if you're interested, that's on my spiritual channel. It goes through a like a history, a timeline of how we got to calculating this day the way that we did, the things that we've accomplished, so on and so forth. Okay. 530,000 paroled immigrants is revoked. So Biden let in 530,000 people if they said they knew someone here, and all of their parole is revoked. So they have to go home. Okay. In Illinois, no student can read grade level in 30 schools. 30 schools in Illinois have 0 students who can read at grade level. Vivek, not my favorite guy, but he is proposing merit-based pay for teachers in Ohio. He's running for governor. Taiwan is going to buy Alaska liquefied natural gas. Trump tweets about the 14th Amendment again. Really important. Hillary and Kamala's security clearance is revoked. George Foreman sadly passes away. UK, Canada, Finland, Denmark, Germany issued travel warnings to the U.S. Yeah, because they got a lot of foreigners there. So the foreigners used to be able to have their Germany passport, come to America, do whatever crime, and then leave. They can't do that no more. They're not going to be protected. So all those foreigners they've got invading their lands can no longer come to America with their foreign passports and think they're going to be protected, because those countries have no say in how we do things. Arizona is getting auroras at night, which is amazing. HHS Operation Stork for infant formula. Today you want to start by reading Proverbs 1. And if you haven't read it, go ahead on and catch up with us. There's a viral male get ready with me video where this guy, he has a Saratoga water. He cuts up a banana and rubs the peels on his face. And when he wakes up, dunks his face in ice water with the Saratoga ice water to close his pores. I don't know. It's very it's just viral. Okay. Plato has a statement where he says God always geometrizes, which is interesting. And today is the 19th anniversary of the founding or launching of Twitter, which is fascinating. All right. So Saturday, March 22nd, 2025. Of course, you want to read Proverbs 2 today. The CIA is violating the oath of office. We find out from the JFK files. I-80 in New Jersey has a bunch of sinkholes that go viral. The Pope leaves the hospital, not in a box, surprisingly to me. Wooden coins are found at these, they're having some kind of rallies for Bernie and AOC. And they've got these coins there that say to 86 Trump, which is not good. You can't say stuff like that, okay? And they got wooden coins with them on it. It's crazy. Western North Carolina's farmers receive topsoil. China unveils deep sea cutting cable, which they don't have. Today is the Venus star point. Venus is going to now turn into a morning star. Of course, we talk about that on my spiritual channel. Reddit is furious that prices are dropping. Dark energy losing strength. That's a report from Wyon in the universe. 1,000-year-old temple consumed by fire in South Korea. Former attorney, U.S. attorney in Virginia is found dead and is very suspicious. 2 Navy warships are on the southern border. China has a rent-a-womb factory in California, which is crazy. Basically, they have American women who get in vitro, and give birth to these babies who are not theirs biologically, but because the person who birthed them is an American citizen, they get American passports. Then they take the babies back to China. All right. Trump attends a NCAA wrestling event. All right, Sunday, March the 23rd, 2025. We're reading Proverbs 3 today. All right. Zelensky will not allow peacekeepers in Ukraine and will only accept NATO membership, which he can't have. So, whatever. Jayden Daniels' mom embarrasses 25-year-old son. Not only did she embarrass him because Jayden Daniels was sitting next to Juju Watkins and they were just having a normal conversation, and then his mom shows up and literally sits between them like she is chaperoning. And I make a comment that it is inappropriate for her to be engaging him like that and basically prostituting him out, because the reason why she don't want him to be around no women is because she wants him to continue to produce money for her. And if he starts spending money on a woman that he's in love with, I'm not saying that he was in love with her, he was just having a conversation with her. And this is not no lower level athlete, she's a top tier athlete. But if Jayden finds a woman that he loves and he stops spending his money on his mother, then she's out of luck. And so this is why she has pimped him out, prostituted him out so that she can maintain this lifestyle that she has. All right. And it's unacceptable. All right. And the only reason I went into detail because I'm gonna have to talk about this again next week, because she actually does witchcraft on them. Anyway, Tiger Woods announces his relationship with Vanessa Trump. Vanessa Trump is actually Don Jr.'s ex-wife. Jada Waiter previews modest bathing suit, which are really cute. UMD Derek Queen buzzer beater at the NCAA tournament. Air Force lands, or Air Force 2 lands in Greenland with Usha Vance. And 199 TDA members and others are sent to El Salvador. So that's the news headlines from March the 17th through March the 23rd. Of course, if you like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, whatever. We go into the long form, like I mentioned, in the weekly podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and blessings, and we'll see you in the next video.